Welcome to Inside the Playbook, presented by Hoosier Network, a podcast where we dive deep into film analysis of sports. I am your host, Gabe Jenkins, with my co-hosts, Campbell and Noah, and in the studio with us is our producer, Lane. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Great day out here in Bloomington. Really good weather. Finally, like a high of 70, sunny degree day. Feels like fall out here.
You gotta love the fall weather this time of year. Finally feeling like football weather.
I mean, it's really just cooled down. It's finally like sweater weather, you know?
Ooh.
Yeah, and that sweater, like cool weather, just really makes me want to get into some football. So let's just do that. Let's get into some football, boys. So today we're going to look into a young quarterback who I really find super intriguing. His name is Bryce Underwood. He is all the rage in the recruiting this past offseason. True freshman, 18-year-old, recruited to the Michigan Wolverines. Big controversies on the $10 million NIL deal that was reported. A lot of stuff going on to him. Just a lot of hype around this young fellow. And let's just see like some film on the first day. This is his first ever game against New Mexico. Just turned 18 2 weeks ago before this happened. Right here, he's just going to have a simple slant route from his tight end, but he's not going to see these linebackers crash into these zones. And he's going to rifle it in there. He gets the throw in. But it's just a risky throw that he should not be doing. And these are just young mistakes that this quarterback has just had as an 18-year-old. Now, his next play, later on in the game, he has a lot of pressure coming, third and goal situation. They've done a good job of driving down the field, but now the young quarterback gets a little bit of pressure coming at his face, and he just struggles to deal with this pressure. As you can see, these linebackers crash in and just get hands on that ball. He needs to loft it up more to get to the tight end. Just nothing there for him. And that pressure just is like clearly a problem for him as a young quarterback.
Yeah, Bryce Underwood, very young quarterback, 18 years old, freshly 18. So, Campbell, what do you think Bryce Underwood needs to really improve on in the coming weeks?
Well, so this was week one, and it was just a clear thing that when New Mexico, their opponent, got any pressure at him, he was just a little bit like just nervous with the pressure in his face. And that's not really uncommon to see out of a young quarterback like him. Like we said, he just turned 18, doesn't have any college experience at all other than his only football experience is high school and middle school, and that just doesn't do as much for you.
Yeah, you need some time to get used to that college game, the speed of the game and everything. Gabe, what are your thoughts?
You know, I remember the stories around Bryce Underwood with the whole recruitment process last year. I mean, it was a big story. Who is going to get this huge prospect that most presumed would be day one starter almost anywhere he goes? And Michigan is a very quarterback-needed team last year, and they landed him. Huge fit, like puzzle piece to put in there, really connects the offense, opens the playbook for them, and just a big piece.
Yeah, and this next play, we're going to see why there is this hype around him. This is a 3rd and 14 with less than 2 minutes on the clock. So they're doing a 2-minute drill. But a lot of teams with a 3rd and 14, young quarterback would just run the ball, try to take some time off and punt. Not Michigan. They have a lot of faith in this guy. They're going to see that they are in zone coverage back here, and they're just going to run these crossers that open up in these gaps. And Bryce Underwood's going to know to throw it right when that route breaks, and as you can see right here, just throws it right in between those linebackers and just gets a beautiful play, picks up a good gain of 25, and then later on this drive to finish off the 2-minute drill, they have a beautiful route from their tight end, star tight end Klein, who just runs it, and Bryce Underwood shows he can loft the ball. He doesn't need to just bullet it. He adds some touch to the ball and just throws a beautiful throw to complete the 2-minute drill. Now, later on this game, they're going to let Bryce Underwood air it out here. We have a 2nd and 7 here. Bryce Underwood's going to take the snap, do a play fake, roll out of the pocket, and deliver a strike down the middle of the field to number 10 as he just runs through and gets a nice chunk play.
And you know, at this point in college football and even in the NFL is getting this way, quarterbacks have to be mobile. And Bryce Underwood has that. He has that ability to be on the run and still make passes. Now, is he going to be perfect? No. He's 18. He's going to be still getting some stepping stones. But you know what? He's really good starting point for where he is.
this is the perfect time for him to make those quote-unquote rookie mistakes. So get them all out, get them out of the way, and then keep this year going perfectly fine.
Yeah, and this next thing here, we're now game 2, but here's the tough part as game 2 for Bryce Underwood. They're going against Oklahoma at Oklahoma in Norman, and they have a tough defense from Brent Venables that they just have to face. Brent Venables is going to show all these guys near the line for Bryce Underwood, saying, hey, you don't know who's coming after you. Bryce Underwood's worried about this pressure, but this play, they drop it back. They drop back the pressure, and Bryce Underwood witnesses that, stays calm, throws a strike after rolling out of the pocket down to Donovan McCauley, who people here in Bloomington know very well. And so that was a really true highlight early on this Oklahoma game for Bryce Underwood.
Yeah, Oklahoma's a very good defense. That's a very tough atmosphere for a freshman quarterback to go into and try to get a huge win for Michigan. The next game was very easy. You get a Central Michigan game in there, but this one was very tough for the freshman quarterback.
I mean, it's just a situation that you're going to end up in at some point in the season, and it came really early for Bryce. And some might say that's unfortunate. Some might say good learning curve, so he gets humbled early so he can figure out the next steps.
Yeah, and it's not all bad plays here. So you're going to see another really good play from Bryce here. He takes the snap. We get a really nice angle at this, and it's just a really nice read the 3 levels. He has a guy here, and a guy up here, and he reads that you just throw it over those linebackers, and he's going to easily be able to loft it in there and get a nice completion. But these good plays were limited here, as you're going to see. Watch what this defensive pressure does to Michigan's offensive line. This is just a simple read option from Bryce Underwood. He can hand it off or he can keep it. He chooses to keep it because if you hand it off, there's all these guys that are just going to tackle him. So he keeps it and just gets tackled within the next 3 seconds also. There's just nowhere for him to go. It's a negative 4-yard play, and that pressure that Brent Venables brings just challenged Michigan early on this year in a way that they were not ready for. You're going to see this next play here. It's 3rd and 15. Bryce needs to throw. Oklahoma knows that. They're coming after him. They get through to him and tip that pass. Another example of Bryce just not throwing it high enough and getting a tip pass. And it's really hard for a young quarterback to face this Brent Venables Oklahoma defense.
You know, quarterbacks are often taught it's all about timing. And when you see that he's about to cut and you know that's a tight window, I got to get that in fast. That touch pass that you might want to put on it, it has to become a bullet pass because of the timing. And sometimes that helps the linebackers that are chasing you get their hand up and put a tip on that ball.
And every game, he's going to learn exactly what to do in those exact situations, especially at a tough away game in Oklahoma. You're going to learn.
Yeah, and now he gets an easier opponent. He gets to come back home, face the opponent Noah was saying he's going to face next, Central Michigan, significantly inferior opponent. They have a drive going 3rd and 5 here. He's going to get pressure to come after him, but check what he does here. Pressure comes in, but he stays calm and just scrambles away from it. He uses his legs. Boys, this guy is fast. He can use those legs and just get away from this pressure, and that's a thing that Michigan's going to need to use. As you can see here, they realize they need to use this. Right here, Central Michigan gets through, but they can't quite get him, and he delivers a throw this time to Donovan McCauley down the sideline. It's just too simple for Bryce against a team like Central Michigan. He can just evade all these defensive linemen.
Like Gabe said, you really need to be mobile in today's game. You need to really get out of the pocket, expand, and try to look for the open guy or get the first down.
I mean, that run wasn't extremely fast. He's not like going 22 miles an hour, but he ran away from where the coverage is. And that's kind of an important thing that he's able to be aware of where that coverage was, and he just ran the opposite way. And that's a lot of open field for him.
Yeah, I mean, you can just tell why there is all this hype around Bryce Underwood. The talent you can see in every play he makes. Sometimes it ends up being a bad play, and you can still see the talent he has. He clearly is just a guy who has the speed, has the arm, has all of the IQ, has the talent to be an elite quarterback. He just needs to get more reps in. And right here, we're going to see this time the pressure does get through. He doesn't escape it, but he just stays calm in the pocket and delivers a great throw downfield right before he gets hit for a touchdown to Samaj Morgan, who does catch the ball, gets into the end zone, and just a great play against a inferior opponent, sure, but just it shows the talent that Bryce Underwood has, and he was able to throw a loft pass, which is a criticism that a lot of people have on him also.
It was huge to come out of that game with a win. It's huge for Michigan to get them back in a win column. It's also huge for Bryce to get some confidence under him. That last game was tough. I need a good win, and he got it.
Yeah, it was a very easy game for Bryce after a very tough, like you said, Oklahoma game.
Yeah, and now we're going to get into the Big Ten season for Michigan. They're facing on the road, again, at a really tough road environment in Nebraska. Really underrated road environment, by the way. Nebraska fans, it's 90,000 plus of them every game, and they come to play. They think they can win this game. Bryce Underwood has a 3rd and 10 here and is going to stay calm and just deliver a really beautiful touch throw down the field. Now, the unfortunate truth here is it is dropped by Goodson. And this is a storyline that's now coming out of Michigan also, is they just need more receiving talent. They have Donovan McCulley, and it's who else is on that team that's a receiver?
It's just kind of a hard situation to be in because with the world of the transfer portal and the world that Michigan was in last year with an okay quarterback play, receivers don't feel confident transferring in there with a freshman quarterback. You don't know what he's going to look like. You don't know what he's going to do. And they don't feel confident about the quarterback situation last season. So it's not a high priority destination for those transfers. But after this season, that story could be completely different for Michigan. They have very high hopes in that quarterback. They're winning good games, and that's a high outlook for those receivers.
Yeah, they look a lot better in Big Ten play so far this year, and it could be more of a destination for wide receivers to go to. And you also lost Donovan Edwards last year, so.
Yeah, and now here's the thing. Who needs wide receivers when you can just take off with a guy like Bryce Underwood? You're going to see here this middle of the field is just going to completely open up. Michigan calls up a QB draw, and Bryce Underwood with that speed, he is just gone. Every Nebraska defensive back was taken away with the routes, and Michigan just gets an easy touchdown here for Bryce Underwood.
I mean, that's play design right there. I mean, when you're scouting these teams, man defense, zone defense, what their priority is. And they get the read. They like to do man coverage, which means they're looking more at the receiver than they are looking at the quarterback. So sneak a little QB power in there, sneak a little QB draw, and it's just going to go right ahead.
Yeah, set up those design runs for Underwood, and then it could really work out for Michigan.
Yeah, and this last play here is against Wisconsin, most recent opponent. They're looking to ice this game. They, in this game, have built a large target to Donovan McCulley. He had about 95 yards in this game. He's going to run just out here, and Bryce is going to just look for him in that zone. Bryce knows that he can throw it up for this guy. Donovan McCulley, who IU fans are very aware of, can just elevate. And so Bryce throws it high where only Donovan McCulley can get it, right in between all those Wisconsin Badgers. And it's a simple, easy, nice play for the Michigan offense.
Yeah, Bryce Underwood is very good at extending the play, getting out of the pocket, really trying to find that open receiver, really just extend the play there and find the open guy.
And, we're going to take a look at somebody else that has great extending abilities, but isn't quite, perfected. Just like Bryce Underwood, we're going to take a peek at Arch Manning. Now, here, Arch is going to step up into the pocket, which you're going to see is a little bit of a trend for him. He's going to slowly just start drifting almost every play that you see, and he's going to have a great little scramble here for about 15 yards. And that's just a great play right there. He runs right into the gap of the offensive line made, and he just runs through it. Great play.
Yeah, and I mean, Arch is undeniably a really good runner, and that is a strength that Texas is, I assume, going to look to use even more of later on this year if they want to make any type of push towards making the playoff.
Arch, unlike his uncles, great scramblers. We didn't see much scrambling out of Eli or Peyton. We saw a lot out of their dad. So it's a little bit Archie-like for Arch to be running like this.
And, this is kind of a negative thing about Arch is that he hasn't quite got the timing down with his receivers. As you're going to see on this play, there's a little corner route here, and he's just going to straight up miss it. It's overthrown. It's not quite on the right angle. It's just a overthrow. It's a miss. It's on the boundary when he's still got 5 yards in between the receiver and the boundary. And that's kind of just a struggle that we've seen out of him when he's getting pressured and he's just getting pressure in his face. It's just a pattern we see out of him.
It's very good to see a young quarterback, a young freshman quarterback like this, be able to, again, extend the play. Arch has been sitting behind Quinn Ewers for, 2 years now? And he saw the looks that he got. So it's very good for him to get those years, unlike Bryce Underwood. He got the years sitting behind a Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, and the problem here is Texas fans really wanted Arch to step in and just be what his uncles are, and just immediately be a Manning and have that name and look like this. And it's just not been that way for him. But at the same time, he's very inexperienced in the college game, and I think they need a lot more patience with him than what they have.
And I mean, his first year he redshirted. He sat 1 year behind Quinn Ewers, and this is his sophomore season on technicality. And, that's young. That's not oftentimes when we see quarterbacks being Heisman candidates. That's junior, senior, because, one of the top things draft scouts look at is downs played. That's a lot of experience that they look for. I mean, Bo Nix had so many years in college football, and he has been great at the pro level.
And just with NIL also, you can just stay in the college game, make money, and I think that's what Arch needs to do, is just stay in the college game, make money, keep developing before he ever tries to make the league.
100%.
All right, so this next play, there's a little bit of hesitation by Arch Manning. There's a little bit of a crosser wheel here, and the receiver's going to come across the defense, and they just run straight up. And Arch sees it a little bit late. There's a big gap there, and because he sees it late, it leads into this big hit for his knee, and it's major injury to that receiver. I do believe he comes back in the game, but he has to step out for a couple plays.
Yeah, and that hesitation just causes the injury. It's really unfortunate. The throw, however, this time was in a good spot. It's just really unfortunate that you waited that long on it and just that safety can come crash in. A perfectly legal play by the safety, doing exactly what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, and Arch is going to learn not to throw those dead ball passes to his receivers later when he gets on in his career.
And so this next play after that is something I'm going to overly critique because it's a touchdown. I'll give him that. But it's not a well-executed touchdown. So you're going to get a little bit of a drag route from both the tight end and the receiver. And it's just, he throws it. He's burping the baby. He throws it super late. And on this next angle, you're going to see just how late that he throws it. He's going to roll out, and the receiver's open the entire time. But he's patting the ball. He's not sure if he wants to do that. So you're going to see the flat there. You're going to see another flat up here. It's wide open. He keeps burping that ball, and that's a term that draft scouts use to say, hey, quit burping the baby. That's giving away that you're going to throw. And it's also a sign that you're indecisive about the decision that you're going to make. If we back this up, that's a huge gap right there. That is open space. There should be nothing Arch is worried about making this throw. And those are the only two options on that play for him to throw to. So he's not looking at anything else. This is the option, and he just waits way too long before he throws it.
Again, that is something he'll develop. He'll learn not to make those bad habits all the time. He'll get through it. He's young, and this is why he needs more reps, more time in college football.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just clear when you watch him that he's not what the hype was for him to be yet. He has the talent to be that, but it seems to me like the mental aspect of football that he is struggling a lot with, and it's just the IQ of when to throw it, his timing with his receivers, where to place the ball, all of this that is just he's struggling with. His physicals, he's right there with. It's just the mental aspect.
Now, this next play is very, very good by him. He's going to drop back into a play-action pass, and the pocket's going to break down a little bit. You can see right here, he's coming through. He's going to get to Arch, but Arch slides up. He moves past. Now you've got three guys right there. He knows not to go there. That's smart. Moves to the left, and he's got so much yards right there. It's a good slide right after getting the first down. I mean, that's everything you want out of a scramble.
100%. You want to see him take off, don't hesitate, and then get down after the play.
Yeah, you never want a quarterback to take the sack. You just want them to be really good at pocket awareness, knowing how to escape, trying to maybe look for a throw, but if there's just nothing down there, just tuck in, take off, get your easy yards.
All right, so this next play is going to be a deep out that it's a completion, but he doesn't really put a whole lot on the ball. And so you're going to see the receiver jump up and have to really slow down when he gets there. I mean, when the camera pans over to him, you can see he's already at the spot where the ball is going to be. He's just kind of waiting, and you can see this corner is diving on him. And if that corner's faster than he was, he could put a big hit on that receiver and possibly break up that pass. But it worked out well for Arch. He put it in the right spot. He put it in between the zones, and that's good play.
Yeah, it worked out for him, but it's one of those where you do look back at the tape, and it could be what we sometimes coin as a concussion ball, where that safety comes crashing in, just obliterates and breaks up that pass.
Yeah. Again, Arch is young. He's going to go through these rookie steps, but he's going to get through it, and that's going to be big for him.
And so some of the stuff we talk about in preseason is the ceiling of these players. And I'm about to show a play that absolutely shows the ceiling of Arch Manning and is one of the most physically impressive plays I've ever seen. There's going to be pressure coming up the side for Arch, and he's just going to sidestep it and then heave with his feet not set in the perfect place, with his hips not turned in the perfect way. He's going to absolutely throw a seam, and it's going to be one of the best balls you can ever throw on a seam. You see the pressure there. He shrugs it off, steps up into the pocket, and throws a huge seam right into the basket.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a really extremely nice play from Arch. He's just clearly, he has that it factor in him where he really could be everything that people think he could be.
100%. We all know the talent's there for Arch. It's just reaching his true potential that we know he could reach.
I mean, yeah. If you look again, this is where his feet are set. That's not lined up with where the ball is going to go. That's not where your hips should be. But he absolutely heaves it about 50 yards right into the basket. It's one of the most physically impressive things that I've seen a quarterback do. And this next play is going to be a standing in the face of the pressure and just absolutely delivers a ball. There's a lot of pressure coming in on this play. He eventually ends up with this guy coming in. He's going to come in with this guy. This edge is going to get there, and this guy's starting to come in. And he just absolutely stands in front of it, lets loose on a curl, and makes the completion that he needs.
Yeah, and it's just, he clearly has all these, like, really good plays, but just the struggle, and you can see that in the outcome of the game. The struggle just for Arch and this Texas offense has been sustaining drives. He's had all these good plays, but does that lead to actually sustaining drives and getting points on the board?
Yeah. It's just capitalizing in the red zone, capitalizing in the crucial points of the game for Arch.
Now, this next play came in at a crucial time. It's start of the fourth quarter. It's 2nd and 20. You're down 15. You got to get something big. You got to keep moving the chains. You got to keep scoring because it's fourth quarter now. It's time to play. And Arch absolutely does that. You're going to see this pressure come into him, and he's just going to go, yeah, I'll go around it, and then move and run for the next 25 yards. Get that first down. Way to go, Arch.
Yeah, I mean, it just has all these impressive scrambles we keep seeing out of him when we watch tape of him. He has that speed that he can just change a game with his legs and his arm.
Yeah, he's a very good mobile quarterback, like we said, which you need in today's game.
And, you know, the same drive. You end up 2nd and 19. Almost the same situation, except it goes wrong this time. And this, unfortunately, is the last play that really goes well for Arch, except it doesn't go well. So it's a little miscommunication on a deep in, and Arch just misses. You can call it a miscommunication. You can call it whatever you want. He misses pretty bad, throws an interception, and Florida kind of seals the game with this interception.
Yeah, I mean, it's all these plays we keep seeing out of him. He has the talent to do everything he wants to do. He just hasn't put it together yet. And we keep seeing this game-sealing interception. It's just a miss. That's what it is. It's not a miscommunication. He just doesn't throw the ball in the right spot, and that's that.
Now we're going to go to another quarterback that I am very high on by the name of Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart just made his first start last week against the Chargers. We see here, Dart starts in the pocket. He rolls up, moves up. Great rushing ability. He has amazing rushing ability. Guys, what do we think of Jackson Dart so far?
You know, I was also very high on him coming out of the draft. I figured he's probably not starting immediately, but he's got all of the physicals there, and he could have very high potential. Now, when he was drafted by the Giants, I thought, oh, is that the right fit? But then you start to think about it. Brian Dable had Josh Allen. That's where he got his name. Jackson Dart has a little bit of that mobility, strong arm on him that he could do.
100%. And we saw in the first game, the Chargers game, we saw the playbook be very simple. Check down passes, screen passes, play action, and him running a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the way you need to do it when you have like a simple game plan for a young quarterback. Because, like, I mean, I'll admit it, I'm not as high on Jackson Dart as you guys are. I think that in college, he had all these physical abilities, but I really like it when a guy shows it in college. And I thought at Ole Miss, he never really put it together in any big game ever. I thought that a lot of times that Lane Kiffin system was really simple for him. He had the physical talent to run it, but a lot of it was just like him doing easy runs, easy screens, easy like quick stuff. And that's what the Giants are now trying to do and have success with early on in his career.
This next play here, we see Dart really get up in the pocket and find tight end Daniel Bellinger. Like we said, we like to see those rookie quarterbacks go up in the pocket and make big plays. This was a huge first down for the Giants. Guys, what do you think about this play from Dart?
I mean, it's physically impressive. I mean, you've got to throw that ball, and he just does.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson Dart clearly has this athleticism we keep talking about. When we talk about Bryce Underwood, we talk about Arch Manning, now we're talking about Jackson Dart. It's these younger generation of quarterbacks that have all these physical attributes, including the legs, that really just take off in a quarterback nowadays.
And in that first game, we saw the Chargers deal with a lot of defensive issues. A lot of players get sidelined from that game. So now we're going to go to the Saints game, where Dart did not play as well, but we still saw him on the first two drives really go out there. We see him really going through two guys here, three guys. He gets the first down and gets a huge 20-yard gain for the Giants. Guys, what do we think about that play?
I mean, you see that slide there at the end. That's what you got to do in the NFL. I mean, he has that tendency to lower his shoulder. You see that at Ole Miss. You saw that last week against the Chargers. He loves to put that shoulder down. Even in the interview he did with John Gruden, he's like, yep, I like to put my shoulder down. And John Gruden's like, you got to stop that. He's like, and he finally does stop it. So
yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, I think what that shows you is Daboll chewed him out for not sliding. He had to sit out a few plays after not sliding, and Daboll's like, I don't want to put Russell Wilson in. I really want to put you in, but if you get yourself hurt, I can't put you in.
Dart said he's only going to slide on the third and fourth downs, what I heard. So there was one play where he slid on second down, and it was all throwing the broadcast off for the next game. So the next play, we see Dart really step up in the pocket, find Darius Slayton, and Darius Slayton gets another Giants first down. It was really a repeat of the Chargers game for the first two drives of this game.
I mean, they started off the game early really well, and they got a lead from that. I think it was 14-3, if correct me.
Yeah, 14-3.
And that's a good lead to have. I mean, you're confident with that lead, except then it doesn't stay.
Yeah. So then we see Dart overthink a lot of plays, like the fumble play. We see him step back in the pocket. He tries to make something out of nothing. You really saw the Giants suffer from losing Malik Neighbors in this game downfield.
Yeah, I mean, just the Giants, you can't blame everything we're talking about and seeing with the Giants and why they collapsed in this game on Jackson Dart. He's a really young quarterback. There's a lot of flaws with this Giants roster, especially when their wide receiver one goes out. He was the most talented player on this roster, and they lose him. I think their D-line is really solid, but their secondary and linebacking core isn't. They have just a lot of overall issues on this team that it's not just Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's really young. He can get there. Just they need to put more pieces around him.
100%. We see the Malik Neighbors loss. It's not the whole reason they lost the game, but it's one of the main ones. So the next play, we see a flea flicker. Dart airs the ball out to Slayton. And if you saw the other replay of this game, you see Slayton wide open for an easy touchdown. But Dart couldn't get the ball, underthrows it. Kind of a classic Daniel Jones Giants play that we used to see in the past. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, play action, it's good design. That's the scheme. You've been running the ball a lot. You have to do that. And you try to catch them off guard every now and then, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
The next play we see here, 4th and 6, pretty much the game is on the line for the Giants. We see Dart roll to the right, and he really overthinks it here. He doesn't know if he should run, he should throw, and he just tosses it up. It goes right into the hands of Kool-Aid McKinstry, and that is the game. What do we think about that, guys?
I mean, it's rough. It's rough to go from up 11 to down 12. It's tough to do that. It's tough to mentally receive that. Physically, you'll recover, but mentally, you're thinking, I did all of that work in the first half and just lost it all. It's like going up 9-0 in the first inning and then losing 18-0.
We saw the game flow really get away from the rookie quarterback and the Giants in general. Those 2 picks and the fumble were costly for the whole team.
Yeah, and this is where a lot of teams talk about playing mistake-free football, and this was not a day where the Giants played mistake-free football. All those turnovers are things that you can eliminate, and they need to if they're going to try to win games. This is not a roster that's built to be better than every other roster in the league. They need to play mistake-free to beat teams. This was not a day they did that. I think we're going to learn a lot about Jackson Dart next week when, let's just see, can he bounce back? Is he mentally there to bounce back after a bad week like this?
And we're going to do a little preview here to wrap this up of something we're going to see a lot of schematics in. IU, Oregon. That is a huge ranked game. That is a huge culture game. That is a huge draft prospect build game. You got to show your toughness. You got to show you're willing to play these tough teams. This is a huge game. What are we seeing?
Yeah, I mean, this is the game of the week. College Game Day agrees. They're going to Eugene, Oregon. Just everybody is really hyped for this game. Signetti knows it's a big deal. Dan Lanning knows it's a big deal. Everybody is ready for it. The whole campus can feel this is Oregon game week. As you know, we're students here at IU. It feels different right now with the way we are number 7 in the nation. Sorry, IU is number 7 in the nation, and it just feels like the campus is just ready to go. They want this win badly. So does Oregon, though, and it's a tough place to play in Eugene, Oregon. I believe it is 18 home games in a row they have won there.
Very tough environment for IU, who's only faced one true road test this year with Iowa. The crowd's going to be ready there. It's going to be crazy atmosphere, and I'm ready for it, too. It's going to be great.
And, you're really going to think, what's going to be the scheme from both sides? Is it going to be play big ball, throw deep shots right out the gate? Or are you going to play a little small ball? Get your first downs, go forward, get to the red zone and score. And that's a question that both teams are going to have to ask because you have a guy like Dante Moore for Oregon who is just a beast.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is currently the Heisman favorite, I do believe. But guess who's also right there? Fernando Mendoza. And I think this is really going to be winner of this game is the Heisman favorite as of right now. It is a big just like who comes out and plays the better quarterback play. Let's just see. It could be a shootout for all we know. Both these great quarterbacks we have, but also really good defenses on the other end. It's just going to be a tough physical battle between two really, really talented, good, solid Big Ten teams, and I'm just amped for it.
Both teams have faced really good challenges so far. Oregon facing Penn State. Penn State did lose last week, and Indiana playing Illinois. It's going to be a major test for Oregon because their one big win just lost. We're going to see how they play against another top 10 team.
I mean, it was huge. 2 weeks ago, Oregon goes into Penn State, right? And they won. And that's huge. That is the resume boost that everyone hopes for. And then this last week, they go into UCLA, which if you watch that game, there's nobody in the stands. You can't blame that on Stadium Pulse. I mean, there's no one there. And UCLA won. That first half was completely dominant. And the second half, Penn State came back, but now Penn State's unranked, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Penn State has had a crazy collapse, and it really just I think now Oregon probably also as a team knows it. Now they all of a sudden don't have a ranked win in their schedule. Now they really feel like they need this to be a ranked win to set their resume. That Penn State loss, I'm pretty sure it was the first time an 0-4 team beat a top 10 team since like the 80s. And it's not a thing you see a lot in college football. Everyone's like, yeah, Penn State will have a good bounce back week against an inferior opponent.
Yeah, Penn State really needed that win. They needed it. And you saw the field storm. It was a great field storm, guys. There were so many people on that field for UCLA after that game. Let's lock back in. Penn State really needed that win. And I saw a reporter after that game ask Drew Aller, are y'all still in the playoff contention? And he said 100% yes. But in my opinion, I'm going to say no.
They have to win out, and they have to win big against a good amount of their opponents to like really emphasize that was a fluke. And let's be real, it probably was a fluke. I mean, that second half looked like a different game. That first half, though, what team are you watching? I mean, it was bad.
Yeah, and the thing I don't get is Penn State spent the most that anyone's ever spent on their defense coordinator, Jim Knowles, who they took from Ohio State, and they gave up 47 points to UCLA. This game didn't make sense when watching it. It just doesn't seem like it was real.
Nico went out there and played his best game. He balled out for UCLA that game. And he proved UCLA is not going to be a rollover game anymore.
And we look forward to covering that next time on Inside the Playbook, presented by Hoosier Network.